This is Jeopardy! Please welcome today's contestants. Player 1, Player 2, Player 3, and now, here is the host of Jeopardy, Alex Trebek.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You all look eager to get underway, so let's get right into it. For this game, the categories are very, very good. Baseball franchise shifts, fish and chips. The Animal Kingdom. Playwrights. And the Old Country. Player 1, where do we start? While pointing the Wii remote at the screen, press the... These animals of the order Chiroptera are the only mammals that can truly fly. It's Player 2. That's correct. Please pick again, Player 2. This feisty Thai fish blows sticky bubbles to make a nest, then puts the eggs in its mouth and blows them in the nest. Okay, Player 1. Use the Wii remote or press the corresponding direction on the plus control pad. No, that's not right. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Let's hear it. Player 2. You got it. Choose again. Player 2. Muskrats and woodrats belong to this order of mammals. Here's the correct response. Rodentia. You get to pick again. Player 2. Here's Kelly to start us off.
Shown here on the upper right, it changed its name in 1935.
Here's the correct response. Iran. Player 2, you pick again, please. It was Siam until 1939. Player 3? Correct. You again, Player 3. Until 1972, it was Ceylon. Let's hear it, Player 3. Nope. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Okay, Player 1. That is correct. You've got some money again. You get to pick again, Player 1. Let's go over to Kelly.
If you see one of these under the sea, look, but don't touch. The spines can be poisonous.
It's Player 1. Right. Please pick again, Player 1. Fruit and lizards, yum, are favorite foods of the coati, also known by this longer name. Player 2. No, sorry. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Yes, Player 1. No. Anyone else? Let's hear it, Player 3. Good, good. Back on the plus side. Player 3, back to you for our next selection. In 1958, the Dodgers and this team moved west to California. Okay, Player 3. No, sorry. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Here's what we were looking for. The Giants. Player 3, you pick again, please. The Braves spent 82 seasons in Boston and more than 40 in Atlanta, with a 13-season stop in this city. It's player 2. Right. Great, you're back into it now. Select again. His father, James O'Neill, was a 19th century actor whose most famous role was the Count of Monte Cristo. Player 2. Yeah, good. Player 2, back to you. Public disgust over his play Ghosts caused this Norwegian to retaliate in his An Enemy of the People. Yes, player 3. Yeah. That is correct. Choose again, player 3. It was the Khmer Republic from 1970 until 1975. The correct response is Cambodia. Player 3, pick again. Until 1975, it was the Malagasy Republic. Okay, player 3. Good for you. We return to you, player 3. This Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright was related to John Sevier, the first governor of the volunteer state. Here's the response we were looking for. Tennessee Williams. You again, player 3. This Shakespeare contemporary is remembered for Dr. Faustus and for getting stabbed to death. Player 2. Right. Player 2, pick again. Dawes Butler voiced this animated TV hound. Yes, player 3. Right you are. Player 3, back to you. These are forever in a top 10 hit from 1967. The correct response is Strawberry Fields. Player 3, you pick again, please. Pro boxers have been battling under this Marcus's rules since the late 1800s. It's player 3. Hey, you're right. Player 3, back to you for our next selection. The moray variety of this fish is sharp-toothed and can be vicious if provoked. Let's hear it, player 1. Any other takers? Player 3? Yep. Select again. The ability of the members of the family Exocetidae to get airborne earned them this two-word name. Here's the correct response. The flying fish. Choose again. Player 3. Here's Kelly. She'll show you.
On this man's first voyage, brothers Martin and Vicente Pinzon commanded the Nina and Pinta.
Here's the correct response. Christopher Columbus. Please pick again. Player 3. Small freshwater fish of the family Pterophyllum are known by this heavenly name. Okay, player 3. Ooh, sorry. That's incorrect. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Yes, player 1. Correct. On the plus side again. We return to you, player one. Built in 1816, the first private yacht to cross the Atlantic shared its name with the barge of this queen. Here's what we wanted. Cleopatra. You get to pick again, player one. Inept policeman in Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing. Let's hear it, player two. That's correct. You again, player two. Answer, it's the Daily Double. You're in second place, so what is your wager going to be? You need to select. Here is your clue. A 1934 New York City taxi driver's strike led him to write Waiting for Lefty, the first of his plays to be produced. The lead is also yours. Player two, pick again. In 1955, the Philadelphia Athletics moved to this city, where they remained for 13 seasons. It's player three. That's right, way to go. Choose again, player three. After the 1960 season, the Washington Senators left the capital and headed west to this town. Player two. Yes. You get to pick again, player two. In 1972, the new Washington Senators moved west and became this team. It's player three. Good. And we'll wrap up the board with this clue. Tidal Avenue in Theodore Geisel's first book. We're talking about Mulberry Street. The Double Jeopardy round will begin right after this. And we have two daily doubles awaiting you in these categories. Key to the City, Medicine, Art and Artists, The British Invasion, Double Talk, and Which President's Cabinet? Let's get back into this now. You have control of the board. Treasury Secretary Timothy Geithner, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Let's hear it, player one. You got it. Select again. A cold that lasts longer than a week may indicate inflammation of these air spaces in the skull. Yes, player one. Yeah, good. You again, player one. Secretary of State Dean Rusk, both JFK and him. Okay, player one. Yes. Player one, you pick again, please. Secretary of Education William Bennett, Secretary of State George Shultz. Player one. You are correct. Player one, back to you. Answer, the first of the daily doubles. Player one, you're in last place, but here's an opportunity to catch up. How much? And the daily double clue. Secretary of Labor George Shultz, Attorney General John Mitchell. You've moved up to first place. We return to you, player one. Secretary of the Interior, James R. Garfield. Secretary of War, William Howard Taft. Let's hear it, player 3. Good for you. Please pick again, player 3. This telegraph inventor's notable portraits included those of the Marquis de Lafayette and William Cullen Bryant. Okay, player 1. Good. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. All right, here with the clue is Kelly.
Red blood cells are distorted into a particular shape and don't carry oxygen well in patients with this type of anemia.
Yes, player 1. That is correct. Select again. Suspect Rocky Mountain spotted fever even in patients from the Carolinas, as it's an area with lots of these critters. It's player 3. Nope. Sorry. Anyone else? Let's hear it, player 1. Yeah. Correct. Player 1, pick again. A stent is a tube often used to hold these open, especially the coronary ones. It's player 1. That is correct. Player 1, back to you for our... The air puff test, a measure of eye pressure, is used to diagnose this condition. Yes, player 1. That's right, way to go. Please pick again, player 1. Picasso painted this work as a protest against the bombing of a town in the Spanish Civil War. Player 1. That's correct. Choose again, player. In her 1949 painting, Diego and I, Diego Rivera is depicted on her forehead. Okay, player 3. Right you are. You again, player 3. Here's Kelly with the clue.
This American's illustration of the whitewashing scene from Tom Sawyer was featured on a 1972 stamp.
Here's what we were looking for. Norman Rockwell. Player 3, you pick again, please. One of his last paintings before his 1903 death in the South Pacific was a landscape of Brittany in winter. Here's the response we were looking for. Paul Gauguin. You get to pick again, player 3. Check out the Quay of KARAKOY in this city, known as Constantinople during the Byzantine Empire. It's player 1. Correct. We return to you, player 1. Government building on Lambton Quay in this New Zealand capital is one of the world's largest wooden buildings. Here's what we were looking for. Wellington. Player 1, back to you. A large stone key built by the French in 1780 is still used in Port-au-Prince, its capital. Let's hear it, player 1. Good. Please pick again, player 1. We wonder whether a steamroller was used to form the many keys of this German city, chartered in 1607. Okay, player 3. No. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Player 1? Right. You again, player 1. Circular Quay is a hub of transportation and tourism in this city. Yes, player 1. No, that's not right. Any other takers? We're talking about Sydney. We return to you, player 1. The first track on the Beatles' second album was a Chuck Berry song that told this composer to roll over. Player 3? Right. Player 3, back to you. Here's Kelly from our Clue Crew with the clue.
Brian Jones played the humble kazoo on this band's 1967 Between the Buttons album, though not on the hit Ruby Tuesday.
The correct response is the Rolling Stones. Player 3, pick again. The Searchers told us that Madame Ruth had a pad down on 34th and Vine where she sold this. It's player 3. Right. Select again. This man's pacemakers included Leslie McGuire, John Chadwick, and Freddie Marsden. Here's the correct response. Jerry Marsden. Player 3, you pick again, please. Check it out. It's how I refer to my flashy diamonds and gold chains. Here's what we wanted. Bling, bling. Player 3, back to you for our next selection. The OED defines it as faint or barely audible speech. Yes, player 1. Nope. Anyone else? Here's the response we were looking for. A murmur. You get to pick again, player 3. Scandalous 19th century French dance. Here's the correct response. The can-can. Choose again, player 3. In the 1950s, this secret militant movement opposed British rule in Kenya. Let's hear it, player 3. That's it. Player 3, back to you for our next selection. Answer the second daily double. You're in second now, but with an opportunity to catch up a bit. So, okay, here is the clue. In a children's song, Dear Little Nellie is way down yonder in this fruit patch. Sorry, that's wrong. We're talking about the pawpaw. Now let's take a look at that $2,000 clue, shall we? Reg Presley not only sang lead on this Trogs hit, he played the ocarina as well. Okay, player 2. Yes. Looks like you'll all be moving on to Final Jeopardy after this break. So much depends on how you do in the Final Jeopardy category, which today is Championship Sports. So, what's your wager? Each direction on the plus control pad represents a different response. Press a direction to select an answer. Here's the clue for you. In 2007, this university became the first to hold national titles in both football and basketball in the same year. Did you come up with the correct response? And that correct response will add... What did you put as your response? How much do you add to your total with that correct response? Let's see your response. With that correct response, you will gain... Congratulations, Player 1. You are our new champion. We'll see you all next time.